So my name is Jacqui Hunt. I'm originally, as you can tell from my accent, English, although I was born in Toronto, grew up in the United Kingdom, came back to Canada in 1982 as a physiotherapist, worked at the General Hospital downtown until it moved to Millwoods, then the Grey Nuns Hospital for 38 years. At that same period of time, I was also running my own private practice in physiotherapy downtown, Edmonton. Sold that when I adopted my son in 2005. And during that time, I also taught at Grant MacEwan in the therapy assistant programs the last nearly 20 years. So my days have changed a little bit in the last 2 weeks because I've retired as a result of this diagnosis. But my day currently is I walk the dog for about an hour every morning. In the afternoons, I will go for a swim, prepare supper. By about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I start the setup for a dialysis machine. About 5 o'clock, I put my partner on dialysis for 2.5 hours. And yeah, we've become entirely dependent on the healthcare system. And through neither of us, through any fault of our own, both of us have got conditions, just bad genetics. I did speak to some of my colleagues that I used to work with, and 1 or 2 of them had heard of it. They'd come across it in the hospital, treating patients with this condition. But even then, the majority of the people I've spoken to have never heard of it before. You talk about universal healthcare, but I mean, I've been in healthcare for 40 years and I know that that's not true to a large extent, but I never really realized how much of an impact. I always thought if you were really ill, it would be there for you. I don't know a lot about Alpha-1. I have certainly read the basics of it, and I have no control. That's, I think in my mind, that's the hardest part. I have controlled everything that I can, my health, my activity level, my food, everything. And the one part I can't control is the treatment. And I have no way of doing that other than to move and leave my family behind. So yeah, I don't know what to say about how I feel because we're completely abandoned. I'm having to move to a different province. I shouldn't have to. I've done a lifetime of service to Alberta, and when I need it myself, it's not there for me. Is my life worth any less than anybody else's? I have a partner who's on chemotherapy once a month, who the province pays for home dialysis, for all the supplies. There is some expenses to us in terms of medication, but essentially the program is covered completely. And when I found out that there was absolutely no coverage for me whatsoever, it was pretty stunning. And I'm not on any other medication other than an inhaler because the rest of me is really very healthy. All I need the help to get this medication. Well, it's not actually a medication, this blood product, augmentation therapy, I believe it's called, to keep me, hopefully, as healthy as I am now, and I won't be a burden on society. Not only am I not a burden on society, I'm also a caregiver. And that's taking the burden off the healthcare system. If they were to cover my partner's medical needs, rather than me being the caregiver for it, it would cost them almost as much as it does for my medication. So I'm stuck. Not only is this a compassionate issue, it is also a financial issue. If I end up having to move to BC in order to get the care that I need, it's going to cost them more to maintain my partner here in Alberta. It just makes no sense from a financial perspective. I think I had a right to be angry. So we're in a situation now where the only way I can get the treatment that I need is to move to BC. And as a result of all of this, the 3 of us in our family will be living in 3 different provinces. I'll be in BC, my partner will be here in Edmonton, and my son will be in Ontario. And yeah, that shouldn't happen. This diagnosis has destroyed our family, just destroyed it. Can I have a minute?
Absolutely.
I'll be okay in a second. I didn't expect this to bother me. I've been dealing with this now for 3 months. I don't think I have fully taken it on board yet either. It's still so new. And because symptomatically, compared to a lot of other people, because I'm a recent diagnosis, I've only just started to get symptoms. And I think I'm managing my symptoms really well. And I've taken responsibility for keeping myself as healthy as I can. So I'm a part of the process, but that other part of the process is getting help, getting treatment, and that's the part that's missing. So yeah, that's a hard one. I was looking forward to a really good retirement with my spouse, having a child that was settled and beginning his career. But now I find myself in a situation where you have to make a decision as to who is more important. Do I stay here in Alberta and look after my spouse and forego treatment for myself? Do I move to BC, get treatment for myself, knowing that my partner is likely going to deteriorate? Whose life is more important, hers or mine? And that's a decision that you're making me make, and not one that comes lightly. And I don't think anybody should be put in that position, is to determine whose life is more important. And that's really the bottom line, is whose life is more important. This is a social justice issue, and no Canadian should be put in that situation.